Hi ladies, today we're going to tackle corner to corner. Basically with corner to corner you are creating blocks that all build on top of each other, and your work is created that way, sort of on a side, and it's created by building the blocks on top of each other. It works up very quickly. It's very repetitive, but if you use a cake yarn with lots of variegated colours in it, it does come out really beautiful. You need to make sure that if you're following a pattern you have enough yarn, because if you're doing a blanket and going that way, you then need to square it off. Most corner to corner patterns are squared, but we can do some rectangle shapes as well. So to start with, you need your practice yarn and your hook. Load your hook up as normal and you do a 6 chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Make these quite loose so that you can clearly see each chain. We're now going to do a treble into the 4th, 5th and 6th chain from the hook. So that will be, you start at the hook end and count backwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. That's the last 3 is the one we're going to be working in. So you go put your yarn round and do a treble into the 4th, treble as normal, and 5th and 6th, and your 6th one should be the one with your slip knot on the end as well. So then you have a block, and your block is made up of 3 trebles and a 3 chain. You now need to turn your work so that the tail of your work is on the right side, on your right side. You then need to repeat the process that we've just done and create another block. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chain, so that you end up with a block and 6 chains. You then need to do a treble into the 4th, 5th and 6th chain along from the hook. So you count along, so 4th, 5th and 6th chain is the one right next to block 1. Keeping block 1 the right way round, so with the tail from the right side there. You now have 2 blocks that need attaching to make your work build up. So your first block is made up of 1, 2, 3 trebles and a 3 chain. We're going to slip stitch under that 3 chain where my hook's poking out now, and that will attach our second block. So you carefully take your work and slip stitch through and underneath that 3 chain. Take the yarn and pull it all the way through and through the hook, the loop on your hook. You then have 2 blocks attached. Your tail is now on the left hand side of your work. Okay, you now need to do 3 chain, 1, 2, 3, so that you have 2 blocks and a 3 chain. You then do 3 trebles underneath where you did your slip stitch, so underneath block 1's 3 chain. So 3 trebles, 1, 2, and 3, and that gives you 3 blocks to start. A love heart shape and 3 blocks. with your tail on the left hand side, you now turn your work so that the tail is on the right hand side, your right hand side. You then repeat the process of the 6 chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you now have 3 blocks and a 6 chain again. You then tilt your work and do your 3 trebles to make sure your tail is on the left, your left hand side now. You do 3 trebles into the 4th, 5th and 6th. So treble 1 into the 4th chain from the hook, treble 2 into the 5th chain from the hook, treble 3 into the 6th chain from the hook, which brings you right up to the 2nd block you made. You now have to attach that to there. So to do that, you find the gap under the 3 chain, and it's under there that you slip stitch to attach. You should now have a letter L, sort of. You now do a 3 chain, 1, 2, 3, and you're going to do 3 trebles underneath the gap where the 3 chain is. So 1, 2, 3. You now have 5 blocks. As you can see, it's building up quickly. So there's your 5 blocks. All the blocks are all made up of a 3 chain and then 1, 2, 3 trebles. Now we need to attach block 5 to the block here. So you go under the 3 chain to slip stitch, and that attaches the block to the other block. You then do 3 chain and 3 trebles under that 3 chain, 2, and that gives us our 6th block, and our work is starting to grow quite quickly. So now we need to turn the work so that the tail is on the left hand side. No, sorry, tail is on the right hand side, your right hand side. You then repeat the 6 chain, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're going to do a treble into the 4th, 5th and 6th chain from the hook. So ready, 4th, 5th, and 6th chain from the hook. That gives you your 7th block, and it needs attaching, keeping the tail on your left. It needs attaching to the block next to it. So you find the space underneath the 3 chain and you slip stitch, and that attaches your block. You now do a 3 chain and 3 trebles. So 1 treble, 2 and 3. There you have another block created, but that block needs attaching to the block next to it. So you go underneath the 3 chain of that block and slip stitch it to join it. You do a 3 chain and 3 trebles. So with corner to corner, if you remember that a block is made up always of a 3 chain and 3 trebles. we've made another block. We need to attach it to this block here, still with your tail on the left, slip stitch underneath where the 3 chain is, slip stitch it through so that you're attached, and you do your building your block, which is a 3 chain and 3 trebles. So there we have, it's building quite quickly. Now you would turn so that your tail is on your right, and you start with the 6 chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you end up with all of your blocks hanging from the 6 chain and your tail on your right side. You do trebles into the 4th, 5th and 6th chain as before. So 4th, 5th and 6th chain. That creates your first block for this row, and for this row we then stand our work up so that the tail is on the left hand side, and we're actually going to work into all of these blocks up the steps here. So all of those blocks there will have another block built on top of them. So to attach this block to the first one, we go underneath the 3 chain, and if we remember that a block is always made up of a 3 chain and 3 trebles. 2, 3. Then to attach the block, we go under the 3 chain, slip stitch it through, and then 1, 2, 3 and 3 chain. 2 and 3. Attach to this block by doing underneath there and slip stitching. 1, 2, 3 and 3 chain. Three trebles into there. Then under the last block, so your tail is still on your left hand side, your last block underneath the 3 chain as before, slip stitch it through and build your block of 3 chain and 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3. There is an easy method that you can remember how to create this corner to corner. The first one is to remember that you only do the 6 chain at either end of the work, so this end or this end. So when I would now turn our work round with our tail on the right hand side, you would now do the 6 chain and treble into the 4th, 5th and 6th chain. That will give you a block that you need to attach to here, so you would then stand your work up, and you're then going to be working underneath this one here to slip stitch, and you'd build your block here. Then you need to attach that under here, so you slip stitch under here and build your block that would fit there. You then slip stitch under there, build your block is always 3 chain, 3 trebles. You then get right up to here where you mustn't forget, with the tail still on your left, you need to build a block. So you're still building a block here. Then your last block, you would then turn your work with your tail on the left, and you would do a 6 chain. So if you remember, your work will always look like that. However big it gets, You will always need to be creating the blocks to fit up the stepping stones. You would do a 6 chain only at the edges. A block is made up of a 3 chain and 3 trebles. I hope that's helped, and I hope it helps you to create some really lovely corner to corner work. Some of the patterns I've sent you explain how to do colour change and all of that as well. Any questions, just message me, but thanks a lot. Bye bye.